Coming up on this episode of the Spiro podcast.
And you get this person hired and you bring them in and you train them with a MacGyvered together, Scotch tape and paper clip together training manual. Okay. And it's all in your head. And you get them out there and you're upset that they can't perform to a standard that you have done. And you've been in business for 3 years. And all you've done for 3 years is thought about real estate media. My first photos were terrible. Is it reasonable that you bring a minimum wage employee in and you expect them to be at your level and all you've done is obsessed about your business for 3 years?
Welcome to the Spiro podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. With your hosts, Todd Kivimaki and Craig Magrum.
Hi, and welcome to the Spiro podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. Spiro is a software platform. It's designed to help you not just run your day-to-day real estate media business, but ultimately help it scale, become efficient, and just have a good time doing it. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is you're watching this. I'm Craig Magrum, and welcoming to the podcast each and every week as well, our owner, founder, co-host, partner in crime. What other titles can I come up with for you, Todd? Genius extraordinaire.
Those are positive. Give the negative ones. That's why I was waiting on.
Give me time. I'll think of some by the end of the podcast.
Well, hello, everybody. Hey, it's great to be on this week. We've got an exciting topic, and this topic is straight from you all. I've been asked this question many times in the last couple of weeks, so I thought it was just worth us talking about today. It's things that I've gone through, things that Craig have gone through. So we hope to bring just a little bit of insight and give you a little breath to say, okay, it's not just me during this season for our topic today.
Todd, I was reading through the outline, and it's things that, yes, I've dealt with, but I'm still dealing with. And so I'm kind of part student here this week. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you have to share and how I'm going to be able to implement it in my role at Wow Video Tours, just with ongoing, changes and evolution in my role in the company, and how I'm going to be able to take these concepts and implement them in my territory. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good.
Yeah. And I don't think this is something that any of us are ever done with. I think
right.
We begin doing it better, and we always have to remind ourselves, because we can get this tunnel vision, and that can lead to just some strange places.
All right. And we do go to strange places.
We sure do.
Anyway, makes the journey fun and interesting. All right. Before we get into that, Todd, we always like to give some updates on Spiro and changes the software is going through, things that we can expect coming up down the road. So what is going on with Spiro right now?
Yes, real quick here, a couple of great things for our Cycle 16 launch. This would be June 23rd. So we're going to do a beta round of our open API. So this is going to be a small group of users, and then there'll be a quick follow where it'll be open to everyone. And API is relevant because y'all are talking to Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, all of these large language models, and you're wanting to do some things. So we are opening up the API so that you can begin to build on top and build these things and use your data to understand, think of it this way. If you would put in a feature request before to say, hey, can you do the metrics page this way? Or can you change this? Or can you do that? That's basically what the API is going to allow you to begin to do. And we'll have trainings and we'll have best practices. And Steve at Wow has been working a ton on how we're going to use AI in our media business. And we'll share that all with you. So extremely excited about that. Secondly, better way to communicate inside of Spiro. So very similar to like Slack or Messenger communication, where you can mention an editor, an admin inside of the portal and carry on conversations. You have a notifier inbox and notification preferences, so on and so forth. But just a great way. If you need virtual staging, at your editor on the job and say, hey, can you virtually stage images 12 and 24? And they can communicate with you that way. You can choose to get an email when you're notified. So lots of great stuff coming up with this next cycle.
What a great way to consolidate communication and not have 20 channels for different things. That's awesome.
Yeah, that and that's the goal, and that's kind of relevant to our topic today. With as you grow, we kind of grow into bigger problems.
Right. It's kind of the dirty secret of growth, really, that you don't necessarily think about as you're getting into things. But yeah, so Todd, when I was growing my business, that there was this paradox of I knew I needed to grow it, right? Because I wanted my income to go up. But as I grew things, I was the photographer, I was the bookkeeper, I was the scheduler, and I took care of all myself. And it felt good to kind of have my hands on everything and make sure that everything was running exactly the way I wanted it. This was my business, but as things grew, things got messy and harder to keep track of everything. And then I realized I need help with having another photographer because I don't have enough availability. And therein lies, or lie. What's my grammar is terrible. I can't say lied. Therein lied.
Eyes?
Right. Therein lies the paradox of growth, where you need to grow, but you don't want to let go, and things just get messy.
Yeah, and so I want to take you all back on a time journey. Let's hop in our time machine, and this is everybody in their own time machine going back in your journey. For some of you, this might be 6 months ago when you started your business, some 6 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever it is. But go back to some of those very early days. And first, just because we're all kind of gearheads, think about what equipment that was. I cleaned out the closet, and we don't even have our very early stuff, but I cleaned out the equipment room the other day. I was looking for something and got on a tangent, and like these like big 5D Mark IIs, and we start off with the Canon GL1 and went to GL2s and Sony FX5 and like all these things, VX2000s. Just I'm thinking of these things like screw on wide angle lenses, y'all. Think about your first equipment set. Was it a Rebel, from Sam's Club or Walmart, or did you borrow it from somebody? And then think about the photos of that first couple of photo shoots. And let's be honest, rate it from a 1 to 10 of today's standards. Okay. What do you give yourself?
I'd give myself a one at best.
Right.
Thinking of my first photos.
I mean, most of you are going to say 1, 2, or 3. I mean, if you didn't come from a field of, say, architectural photographer or something like that, like all of us are going to say 1, 2, or 3. Okay. Everyone else who says like 8, 9, or 10, you're all just liars. I'm sorry. I love you, but you're lying. So, okay. So what did you do? You first got the first shoot. You got it back. I started only with video. I didn't take photos for about 5 years into the business. I still remember mine. I was in college and I was at home during the summer, and my parents were moving houses. So we lived in this small little house where we were all crammed in, animals and family in there. And I remember editing the first video. I was so excited that a broker is actually like, yeah, you can go over, here's some keys. I got a couple vacant houses. Go and shoot whatever you want to shoot. And I remember I got back with the footage, and I had Premiere Pro opened up, and I was editing in a timeline. And I got it all to the point. I wasn't in love with it, honestly. Even at that point, I was like, yeah, it's really not that great, but it's, it's okay. And I remember this. I had my mom come in and take a look at it. She was in the house. Hey, Mom, come look at this video. And she walked in, and my mom, now my mother's 80 years old now, and I'm the youngest by many years, at least 10 years. So I was not only the youngest, but I was like the baby of the family. And my brothers would joke, and I've told this story before, that my brothers would joke that I could kill someone and my mother would say that I'm innocent. Okay, so like I can do no wrong in her eyes. And I remember I hit spacebar on the keyboard to play the timeline. My mother watched it. And she was like, yeah, this really, like, I don't really like it. It's not that good.
Wow.
Let's see, I was 22 at the time. Like, that's the first time in 22 years my mom told me I did something that wasn't so good.
Are you still carrying scars from that today,
Yes.
Todd? Folks,
So-
this is going to be a therapy session.
Yeah, sorry, y'all. You guys send me an invoice. I'll pay my therapy session. But just a little perspective, like, we all started from a point that it wasn't that great.
Mhm.
Okay. So the great thing is we realize it and then we do something about it. We iterate, we pivot, and we do that a whole lot. And then you get the product to a better level. Then you get feedback from an agent. Hey, could you do things this way or that way? I remember the agent who told me my verticals weren't vertical. I was like, dude, Jeremy, like, what are you talking about? Like, I love to, like, I'm 6'7". I can reach up 8.5 feet and point the camera down. Don't you want that on every room? He's like, no, bro, I don't really want that. I'm like, oh, sorry, bro. I got a 13-year-old and 11-year-old.
Right, bro.
He didn't say bro to me, but it made the story better, I feel like, in my head.
It's bruh these days, not bro, bruh.
Yeah.
Even moms are bruh by their sons. Anyway, sorry.
So yeah, after Jeremy had that conversation with me, I was like, oh yeah, that's interesting. Like, my ego was kind of hurt because I was like, hey, I'm this video extraordinaire. Like, why do you want your photos like this? And then we took in the feedback and we were actually like, yeah, I see what he's saying now. Like, I can't unsee the vertical lines.
Right.
And so we changed, and you all did that too. So by the time you grow from beginning to wanting to hire someone, you've literally had thousands, if not tens of thousands of meetings with yourself. Okay. You've developed, think of how much we think about our business. A massive amount, right? And so now you go to day one of hiring someone and you begin to train them in the ways that the couple of patched together ways that you train them. And we all have it. Like, the first ways I've trained people were terrible. And then we put them out there on their own. They go to the first shoot and it might be paused, like, okay, great. They did the shoot. I was able to double up today. But eventually they hit a gap and something goes astray. Right, Craig, this is typically like, I forgot a room, or camera wasn't in focus, or the lens was smudged up, something that seems silly to us.
Right.
And then what do we do as business owners?
It could be any number of things. I initially panic, like, oh no, I'm going to lose a customer over this.
Mm-hmm.
Just take it to the worst degree possible. But yeah, it's for me, it's the realizing I don't have a system in place to really train somebody well. You're kind of doing things on the fly if you're not ready for it and you don't have a system on how to handle those problems. Not problems. What's the word we use?
Gaps.
Yeah, gaps. So it's just the initial panic of trying to fix things on the fly. And there's a lot of stress associated with that, even if it's not a huge problem.
Right, because probably that same day, like, 2 other problems come in that have never come in. Or, you have a room that needs to be more warm or cool, and then you have a complaint about a video edit, right? And it all compiles and it hits your shoulders on the day, and you're like, why am I even doing this?
You feel like a complete failure.
Yeah.
And then imposter syndrome kicks in and it spirals and you overthink and overanalyze
and then what's just natural for us to do is we say, well, I should have never, I don't really want to hire anybody. Maybe I should just fire them and I'll keep it small.
You talking to me? Folks, if you just started listening to this podcast or just recently, that's me in a nutshell. I was more I'm going to stay a boutique photographer because it's hard for me to let go of things and not have control. So actually, Todd, this is going to be my therapy session. Go ahead.
For me too. And like I said at the top of the show, like, this happens to everyone. And so I just had a vacation for a week. And then unfortunately, my brother had a serious incident, was in the ICU. So we were down visiting him in Florida and the family for another week. So I've had 2 weeks off. And during those 2 weeks, I have disconnected. I turned email. I took it all off my phone. Like, I understand the safeguards I have to put in place so that I don't go and check them. And many of you have done this, and Colleen Kidd talks of this in her talks, but like, when you go away, you realize where you have some gaps at.
Mm.
And I think it's some of the best things ever. So I consumed a lot of podcasts, read a little bit. I'm more of a listener. But think of it this way. And I was listening to Alex Hermosi on the plane on the way home yesterday. And he gave a couple of points that I want to make today about maybe your situation where you're like, my photographer is not so great. My photographer missed a room, or is missing rooms, or just is not as good as me. Okay. Yes. No one that you hire is going to be as good as you for this time period of your business. If you're a very established business, you might get to a point where you're hiring people better than you. But for all of us, my first employee was minimum wage part-time. Okay. And you get this person hired and you bring them in and you train them with a MacGyvered together, Scotch tape and paper clip together training manual. Okay. And it's all in your head. And you get them out there and you're upset that they can't perform to a standard that you have done. And you've been in business for 3 years, and all you've done for 3 years is thought about real estate media.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So is it reasonable? Remember, your first photos were terrible. My first photos were terrible. Is it reasonable that you bring a minimum wage employee in and you expect them to be at your level, and all you've done is obsessed about your business for 3 years?
Not reasonable. Not reasonable.
Oh, and even some of you, I was on a coaching call the other day, and I love doing this. Like, I just love these conversations. Even this individual person, he even told me like that they told the person, the photographer training, like, hey, we know you're going to make some mistakes. So set them up. And I think that's the right thing to do. Your photographers are going to make mistakes. Your employees are going to make mistakes. You make mistakes every day. Okay, mistakes are a sign of growing. But when that mistake comes in, and it happened to be the day or maybe the day before when I was talking to this individual, that this mistake happened. And it's like actually digesting that you're going to move forward from the mistake. Like, you told your photographer, hey, you're going to screw some things up. It's okay. We just want you to learn from it. It's a lot different when you're standing in it though, right, Craig?
It is.
Because the left brain spins up. I'm going to lose. It was probably for the VIP client who you probably knew better not to schedule the person for, or it was really far away, or for a service that they weren't really great on. And you were hoping in a pinch you could put this person there to take care of this job for you, and it backfired.
Right.
And now it's like, okay, now I have to clean up the mess. So when you clean up the mess, you can take it from a couple different perspectives. One, is the sky falling? Okay, let's start off with the worst perspective, what I consider the worst. The sky is falling, your business sucks, you probably should never start it, and you're going to run out there as fast as you can. You're going to fix it. You're going to pick up the room. You're going to work in a silo. You're going to come back. You're going to send it over to editing. You're going to get it back, upload it, send it out to the agent, write a nice email or call them, and you're going to patch everything.
So that's not the answer? Because that's what I would be tempted to do.
And I think we all are, right? Because we're the best at our business than anybody in it. No one's going to do it better than you.
Mm.
But then think about this. What's your photographer learning then?
Yeah.
Does your photographer know about this? How did they think they did on that job? Maybe there was an outside situation that you didn't understand. I can't tell you how many times we've had a client call in, an agent call in and say, hey, where is this room or this angle? And immediately what my left brain wants to do is go, why did the photographer not get this? How could they miss this? It's so simple. Reach out to the photographer, get it from them. And they're like, oh, the homeowner said that they were cleaning that, or they don't want that, or don't do that room, or that's off limits.
Yep.
But we all jump to conclusions in our left head, and I raise my hand just as much as anyone else. But it's all those little things as an owner that you have to begin doing differently because you're not a technician anymore. For you E-Myth lovers out there, the book, and I love it too. If you haven't read it, you should read it. It's going from a technician to the manager to the owner. And we'll all stumble along the way. But you've got to go through it. You actually have to be the manager. You can't jump back into the technician and go fix the problem. You can facilitate, you can make the calls, you can smooth it over, but you've got to bring your employees into the loop of what's happening. You have to empower them. That's the thing that I was terrible at, was empowering people because I thought Todd could just do it better than anyone else.
Yeah.
So, Craig, I went on a bit of a tangent here, but I want to give 2 points that Alex Hermosi made the other day when I was listening on this. But think about the progression of employees. So when you're a small business, like I can't believe some people said yes to working for me 15, 20 years ago. I joke a lot of times. One of our offices was in not a great part of town, and it was a house that was converted to an office. And the Google Street View was actually of the wrong building, and it was a much worse building. Like this it looked like a shack, this little green shack in like the middle of Lima. And and like I can't believe people actually showed up. Like Steve Musser, who runs sales and marketing for a while today, like he showed up and to the office that was still downtown and took a job from us. I'm like, thank the Lord that Steve actually showed up because he's basically running the company, half of the company now.
Yeah.
Jess Paxson runs the other half of the company. She showed up to that same little office. I'm like, I can't believe these people who are running my company now without me and doing a great job, they showed up.
I remember that house.
Yeah.
I visited. I remember it.
So that's where you're at today. And you can only attract, you have to do with what you can. You can't, think of the difference. Like if you've all have hired, like think about a difference between a VA at $6 to $10 an hour versus a US admin that's maybe making $40 or $50,000 a year. Think of the difference between those two levels of employees. If you've grown some and say you have a manager and someone who operates the business, I think about the time I hired my first 6-figure salary person. It was like, wow, that was like, why didn't I do this for everyone? And you can't have everyone, make six figures. It's just not part of business. But those people, as you begin to hire those better people, they will exponentially make your business better.
You got to be willing to trust them.
You got to be willing to trust them. Yeah. And then that's one thing as I talk back to the owner, the idea of this owner trap is to where I hired good people, but then I just didn't trust them to do what I needed them to do.
Todd, the question that I have in my mind, like, as I think through things, so, my role is going to be shifting probably in the next year, 2 years, 3 years at WOW as I shoot less and do more business development. I'm guessing is where it's going. Turned 50 this year. My knees are starting to, tweak a little bit. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I'm trying to work through is...
Craig, I just want to, hold it. You said you were twerking a little bit. Is that why you're...
No.
Okay. I thought this was some new.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, you said tweak. I thought you were twerking and I didn't know. I'm sorry. I was like, well, maybe that's why your knees not too great. But okay. Sorry. I diverged.
My face is turning red, isn't it? Can we edit so that the white balance stays white?
No, let's leave it in. Let's make it even more red.
Oh my gosh. I think in pictures, Todd, and I don't want to see myself. Audience, I am so sorry. Because now that's stuck in your head too. Tweaking.
Okay, tweaking.
Right. And not like a junkie tweaking. Anyway, I don't even know where I was going with that. Oh, I know where I was going. Okay. So assume my territory, we're hiring a new photographer that is going to be taking on actually probably a majority of the shoots, maybe minus a few photographers that are, say, very high end and only want Craig to shoot. And in the short time, that's what we have to do. When I run something, whether it was the radio station I was general manager of, my own business that I started, and even now, even though it's not my business, it's Wild Video Tours owned by Todd. it- I still feel that ownership because this is the territory that I grew and developed, and initially WoW took over. But I have this owner mentality, even though I'm not owner. And like you said, nobody's going to ever take care of my market as good as I do in terms of photography or the business development, customer service, whatever. Even though I'm learning, I need to lean on my team a little bit. But say we hire this new photographer, how do you instill a sense of ownership in a new employee that initially you are scared to death they're not going to have that same level of care, concern, attentiveness, to the client, that really is kind of your secret sauce to having grown a successful business in a particular market. Does it, did I get too wordy on that? I think I got too wordy on that.
No, well, some things that I have learned and learned the hard way over the years
Hmm.
with going through bringing people into your business and having the business grow. And it's fabulous. I will tell you that it's fabulous when you can go away from your business. So there's two levels here. One, you're able to actually go away. So let's take the vacation idea that you
Hmm.
can go on vacation and the thing doesn't burn down. Okay,
Right.
as a business owner, that's great. You still did shoots. Think of all of you who have photographers that you've taken a vacation. You're like, I still made revenue when I was at the beach.
Hmm.
That's a great feeling,
Yeah.
right? Okay. The next step of that is how many of you can leave and come back and your business is better?
Hmm.
That's the next step. Like when I was away, Steve impromptu sent me a report year to date of what WoW was doing. Okay. And we're growing double digits. It's great, which is where we want to be. And like I just thought of it. I just sat there. I was like, I'm so thankful for the team I have
Hmm.
because like I'm sitting here, brothers in ICU, like, and like all of a sudden in
Right.
my inbox, I get this year to date and average order value is up, number of shoots is up, but revenue is up time, more than so it's things like that where I was like, I'm so thankful that I have these people that
Right.
are actually making my business better and I'm not even there.
Hmm.
They're like, hey, I've got your back. Like it was like, and I just had to brag on the team a little bit and Craig as well. But like everybody on the team, but when I got the Friday before I left on vacation, there was a gift bag sitting in my office and Steve and Jess had got me a gift bag of candies that I could take on the trip. And they wrote me a nice little card that said, hey, we hope you really enjoy your vacation. Thanks for all you do. And I was just like, this is so incredible. Like that, like they're happy that I'm getting to go. And then when I'm gone and I impromptu had to extend the trip a week, like they're thinking, how can we make the business better?
Right.
So those are the progressions. That's where you can get to. So I tell you that not to brag. Okay. It took me 23 years to get here. Many more people have done it way quicker and way bigger and way better. But that is the goal for you to get to. So when those things happen, to empower, and I think you have to begin thinking about this. You as the business owner have to empower your team because yes, you can do a lot and you're special and all of these 3 gold stars for you.
Right.
But no matter how many gold stars you have, you're never going to be greater than a team of 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50. Never. And unless you empower them to make your business better when you're gone, they're never going to do it because they're waiting on you. So starting now, if you have that photographer in, and how can you do that? This idea of, well, what is your secret sauce? Craig, I think in the intro to this question, I went on a little bit of a tangent here, but you're like, they can't do all of the special things that I do. Well, can you define what that is?
Hmm.
What are all the special things you do? I saw a post as I was catching up on Facebook today. There was an individual who posted a picture of a trailer backed up to a driveway with a zero-turn mower on it. And then the second picture was these nice clean lines in front of a property. All right, kind of caught my attention, read it, and This individual happened to be shooting an Airbnb. It was a big job. There was 2 next door, I believe, and the lawn was just trashed. They're like, "Hey, let me go get my zero turn," like, the above and beyond. And I agree. You have probably won that client over. Anytime they get a new Airbnb, they're probably gonna call you because they'll remember the time that you mowed the lawns of their Airbnb. Fabulous. I think about our largest agent, love her to death, incredible, has done an outrageous amount of business with us, Cindy. She will tell you the story anytime comes up that Todd left the hospital, and I don't even like admitting this. We had a 2-year-old that was in because he had some breathing things, but he was stable. I left the hospital to go shoot her mother's 80th birthday party.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. And I drove an hour and a half south to Dayton, and she will tell everybody the time that Todd left and shot her mother's birthday party and how they took the photos and how special it was. Okay. So we've won her. I don't take for granted we've won her. We still take really good care of her like you all do. But do you expect your photographers to go get their zero turn and mow the lawn?
No, but I kind of want them to.
Yes. And thank you for being honest, Craig. We all do.
Yeah.
We all want them to move the dog cage, to wipe up the floor, the vacuum, the carpets, to move the refrigerator. We were asked to move a refrigerator once. Like, dude, Jackie's 5'2", 100 pounds. She's not moving the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not gonna happen. Even if she wanted to. Like, you could put $1 million behind the refrigerator. I don't think she's pulling that sucker out.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can't define it, then how can you expect your employees to do it?
Right.
And if they have no guiding light, like, okay, so there's some things that you all do. We all kind of have the script when we walk into the house, right? That we go through. It's pretty common where you make a little small talk. You probably have a funny joke. You ask to divide and conquer with the lights on if the homeowner's there. You send them to a particular portion of the house. Have you written that down and given that to your photographers? Have you role played that with them? Well, then why would they do it like you? They've shot 20 houses. You've shot 5,000.
Yeah. Little things you learn as you've been doing it over time that just you do it without thinking. You almost take it for granted that everybody should know that this is what you do.
Ah, Craig, and that is so true, but it is such a potential problem that when you assume, and you know what they say about assuming.
Yeah.
I've done this way too much and I still do this. It's a lot of times when I think, how did that happen? Like, you've got to look back at you and be like, how did you allow that to happen?
Right.
Like, you're the owner, dude. Like, Todd, figure it out. Like, how did they think they could do that? And then it's very simple. Fix the problem. Have them fix the problem. Let them know about the problem. Ask them if they know how to fix the problem. A lot of times when you have good people, you say, how can you fix this problem? They go, oh yeah, I would go do X, Y, and Z. And you're like, well, I didn't have to tell you how to fix a problem. I just needed to guide you into that.
Right.
And that's what we jump to conclusions on, is we think, hey, they're hurting my business. I should just go back and be a solo photographer. But you forgot, as a solo photographer, you're basically just an employee of your company. You only have the commodities of life: time, money, and people, right? So if you trade all of your time to get money, how is that any different than the job that you hated? You don't have any more freedom.
It's kind of an illusion of freedom,
Yeah.
I think, because you're not free, but you're your own boss. So you kind of see it as being free, but you're still having to do daily tactical tasks that are kind of in the weeds types of things where you need to be above the weeds.
And it's freedom. And sorry, I'll be a little pointed today because I'm a bit feisty because I have had 2 weeks of my brain just, decompressing. But like, okay, it's great freedom. You work 80 hours a week. You take phone calls when you should be with your family. You do all your own edit requests because you can draw lot lines better than anyone else. You don't get to take a vacation because you're always busy during the summer. So your family goes somewhere else with you, and so on and so forth. And I point my finger, I point myself at all those. Like, I have times of all those things I remember taking the phone call on vacation. It's like, man, I gave up an hour of a phone call fixing a problem, and then I was in a bad mood for my family the whole rest of the day. And we
Yeah.
vacationed once that year, and I screwed up a day and a half of it. Like, that's freedom. But but there is a better way. And it's just empowering your team. And it's every time something comes up, you figure out why that was able to come up. You ask the team if they think there's a better way. And if they don't know it, you might have the better way. Put it in your documents, your SOPs, and train everyone, let everyone know, and then move on from it. And we live in this beautiful age with AI, is where you can literally just talk to AI and it can write these manuals for you,
Hmm.
and it can draw out these things and put in these bumpers for your business.
So basically, if we were to kind of start to summarize things, that feeling of being completely overwhelmed by what in reality are really just small problems,
Mhm.
but small problems compounded, that's actually a good sign of growth, right?
Yeah, it is, Craig. And
Okay.
yeah, it's a fabulous sign of growth. And thank you for making that point. Think about how many times you all waited by your phone or your email, your DM inbox, and you wanted someone just to say yes to take you up on a shoot. Think back of the time when you won the big client. You all have the names in your head. I mentioned Cindy. You all have these names. Okay. Think of that client. Think of the time that they said yes. Like, it is out there, and you can build on those to get to where you want to go. All right. So your business is functioning. It is a good thing. Okay. You used to just want someone to do a shoot with you. You never imagined you would have a photographer working for you doing shoots on your behalf. So it's this little bit of tunnel vision that we create as owners. I almost said as homeowners, as owners, that is good as a owner of a business. Like, we have to have some tunnel vision. Like, I think back to some times like, Todd, that was really dumb to go through that and push through that. Okay, I sold video to everyone in 2004. The internet couldn't even support video. It was really dumb. But I had tunnel vision that it was going to work. And thankfully I did.
Right.
And that protects us. The tunnel vision protects us from the things on the peripheral that we go, wait a minute, this looks scary. But tunnel vision allows you to push forward, but it can make your life just terrible at times because we're only focused on the forward and we never have any appreciation for what's behind us. So I would just encourage you to think back to the times that you had those wins and the times that you never imagined that you would even have a photographer, someone working for you. Like, you figured out how to have an employee, how to pay them. You figured out what payroll is. You've got, business cards, maybe, whatever it may be. You never imagined you would be here. So just embrace those mistakes. Don't accept them, fix them, and move on from it.
And trust your team to fix those things as well.
Mhm.
Create the process uh, to teach them how to fix those mistakes.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah. And Craig, I'll leave us with just a quick. So I get this question asked a lot, and it's during this conversation, typically when I'm coaching someone and they say, hey, oh, we had the photographer who did this, and we had another photographer do that, and one quit, and we're going to have to fire the other, and we need two more. And all these things happen. And they go, we really feel like we've created all we can create for SOPs. I'm like, okay, well, in your guidebook, does it say you're not allowed to have green hair? Literally green hair. Okay. Does it say that? Well, no. Okay. Well, then we should probably put in your book that you can't have green hair at your company. And as crazy as it sounds, that we feel as adult human beings that we have to tell other adult human beings that they can't dye their hair green. It's just part of being a business. I don't know what else to do but laugh at it and put in the book, because otherwise we're all going to cry at it, right?
I'm just glad that in our handbook it doesn't say you can't have tattoos on
On your forehead. Yeah, you can still get that one, Craig.
I have been toying an idea of adding to the arm here.
Oh.
I've been warned about that. Once you get
You
one,
got the
you want
fever.
more, right? Anyway, sorry. It's not in the handbook, so we're good.
Yeah, well, I may have to talk to Steve today about the tattoos in the handbook. Okay, my point. Let me wrap this
Yeah.
sucker up for
Yeah.
y'all. If you feel like you're over SOP'd, if you feel like, hey, I put all this stuff in a handbook and I've got just pages and pages of it, no one's ever going to read it or reference it. And that's probably true. Like, they'll train on it and they might reference it. They might ask AI if you build a bot. But the thing is you can discipline to it and train better because of it. So it is needed. But the thing that you might be missing at your business, you might be missing the guiding light principles of how employees at your business should function when there's not a reference to that situation in the SOP guide handbook. Okay. We call these core values. Okay. There are core values at WOW. We have 5 of them. And when I hired Shannon many years ago, we were going through these things. We were in a high growth state. We were growing just insanely, and we were growing kind of without a rudder. We're just going. And we had these situations where these things would happen. She's like, "Well, what are your core values?" Like, Shannon, I don't have time for these warm fuzzies. Like, I hired you just to fix these problems. Like, I really don't want to go touchy feeling on these things. She's like, "Not really. Like, what are your core values?" How does someone know what to do when the situation's not written down? That's where your core values come in. And so I did an activity where I just wrote down the story of how I started WOW. And I wrote down how I started it and what was important to me and how we operated every day, how I thought we operated, how I operated as the business, Todd the business. And from that, Shannon pulled 5 core values that now we share everywhere that there's employee documentation. It's on the wall out here. It's in the handbook. It's in the onboarding. We talk about it. We speak of it. It's one of the major things that I talk about. If I'm ever in a meeting and I feel like I don't have anything to talk about, like, I go back to a core value and I explain it, because these are, as the term implies, these are core, extremely important to your business. And when a situation comes up that you go, "Hey, we've never had this situation before," your employees will deal with that situation based on these core values of your company. So for us, our number one core value is clients are our number one priority. And I always tell the team, like, hey, this is a very heavy core value.
Yeah, it is.
To say, hey, clients are number one on everything. Like, we just want the client to be okay. It's a tough core value. But when a client calls in and we have a situation, it allows Brittany or Evan or Alex or whomever to say, I've never heard of this, but I want you to be okay. Like, you're my number one priority in this call. And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that you're okay. And they solve that situation. And as long as the client's okay, I'm okay. Now, as you grow as a business, you might need to create a few bumpers. Like, does okay mean that Brittany can give away $10,000? Like, can she say, hey, your shoot for $300 didn't go so great. Like, I'm going to refund you $10,000 just to make sure you're okay. Like, every client, no. But when that happens, you're going to handle it after the fact. and you're gonna say, "Hey, Brittany, maybe don't give away the whole shoot. Just give the next shoot 50% off, whatever it may be." But you can define these things. But as long as Brittany said, "Hey, I want you to be okay," and she made sure the client was okay, I'm good. And,
Yep.
and Craig, that's probably what we're gonna have to do, and some of the mindset you're gonna have to go through when we bring this individual into your market, where you're just gonna have to say, "Hey, I've known this realtor for a really long time. They've been with me now through my company, and wow, and like we kind of made them not okay. And we're going to have to reference the core values. Okay, how could we make sure that this person feels like they're our number one priority?"
Yeah. As I'm thinking through this, when you're going through your core values as a company, and say in my role, I'm going to review our core values because it was the same values basically that allowed me to build my business initially. And there's a great deal of pride of ownership, right? I've gone above and beyond to take care of my clients because they're the ones ultimately paying my paycheck and allowing me to have a career that I enjoy. I enjoy the creative part of it. I enjoy the fact that the service that we're providing is actually something that's needed. I'm not selling snake oil, right? This is an actual thing that's needed. So I have a clear conscience. I like the product. I like the team that is around me. And so teaching that to a new person and working hard for their long-term success. I want to know, do you have an interest in doing this long term? Yes, great. Here's the keys that help me to be able to do this long term. I want that for you so that I'm freed up to do things that I need to do to make sure that you have enough business to shoot long term. I don't know if that's making sense. I'm verbally processing this right now. And by showing that new employee the things that have made me successful, and that these things are going to make you successful if you can duplicate these and even go beyond them. Ultimately, what I want for that photographer in my market is that the clients that love the service that I give them individually and that Wow gives them, that they'll love that photographer even more than they've loved me, right? And that they're going to have a long-term relationship themselves with that realtor and have job security and enjoy the work that they're doing. And it's just, yeah, approaching it like that, of I want success for you so that
Mhm.
we as a team can have success. You got to find the right person that actually cares enough about their own future that they're teachable and will listen to that wisdom.
Can I ask a question, Craig?
Yeah, yeah.
So does that question imply that there are some people, or there's a segment of people that don't care about their future to care enough about their job?
Maybe that was a little harsh, but I think there are people that don't think long term, and that maybe it's a summer job for them that they ultimately, it sounds fun, but they're not thinking long term that this is something I want to stick with or grow or learn more about. Because I've seen that before, and I didn't do a good enough job in vetting who that person was going to be that was going to join my team.
Mhm.
Maybe I was only looking short term. I need a fix now because I need capacity now for appointments, and I didn't think long term enough to find the right person that was going to stick with me long term.
I got you. Maybe we were maybe it's this idea of hiring the minimum wage employee versus the $50,000 a year employee.
Yeah, yeah, because I needed to take care of the problem now.
Mhm.
So I didn't do my due diligence in being patient enough to find the right person.
Makes
If
sense.
that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think we have seen that in your market as to where we've actually pivoted the way that we are going to hire and pay this person potentially.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me ask one more question, Craig. This is fabulous. So, are the goals of the employee or the goals of the company more important?
Oh, can it be a both and? I mean,
Yeah.
they're both important. If you're gonna hire, if you want
No, I'm gonna
stability,
make you pick one. I'm gonna make you pick one. Not a both and. It's an or. Which one's more important?
if the goal of owning a business is to create a business that works for you, you've got to find the people that it's going to work for them.
Mm,
Um, it's better to give than to receive. I'm thinking of that eternal principle. It's better to give than to receive. So if I'm giving my all to the employee that has needs and I set them up for success, that's going to take care of my needs. I'm going to save the goals of the employee.
Mm, I love that, Craig.
I've never thought about that before.
I 100% agree with you. I I think that if you can show your employees how they can reach their goals, and just as a side tangent here very quickly, their goals are not your goals. So please, if you think that they
Mm,
want what you want, they do not. They don't want to own a business. They don't want their phone attacked. They don't want any of that. Their goals are not your goals. I made that mistake for many years.
mm,
If your employees can see the way that they can achieve their goals through your company achieving its company's goals, okay, but still your employees' goals are first, then why would that individual do anything different or not do what you need them to do? It's kind of like, you know, this idea of trade at its simplest format. If you have chickens and have eggs and I have, milk, why would we not trade? It's good for everyone. But you're not going to trade if ultimately your goal's not met. You're not going to trade just to be nice. You might do it once or twice, but if it doesn't get you where you need to go, then you're not going to do it long term.
mm.
And I completely agree that with you, Craig, that if your employees' goals are met, then they will be good for your business. They will do what your business needs.
Hmm.
The
Yeah,
thing just as an owner to have an idea of, and this will happen as you grow, is your employees' goals will change over the years.
very true. I'm kind of going through that myself right now at this stage of my life.
And Craig, to be transparent, and I'm sure Steve has talked to you about this. Like we've had many discussions where we're like, hey, what can we do? How can we help Craig? What can Craig,
Right.
with knees, like his knees, he too much twerking, his knees are bad. So it's
Stop.
like, like how can we get Craig to stop going to these discos? But in all seriousness, how can we make this good for Craig?
Yeah.
What can we put in front of him? What could we offer him? How could we change this? How could we adjust this to make this good for Craig? And I have to do that in a sense of like, Craig's made us so much better. So we want Craig here. But the tough thing is like, I'm okay if Craig's selfish. He's like, hey, I need something different. Like we'll try to get something different. But you as the business owner, I can think of many years, and typically it's when someone at your company has a baby. I
Hmm.
see many people, many moms, and I love you moms to death. Like it's incredible what you do. But your needs, your feelings, your family, like it changes after you have a baby. And we've
Very
had
true.
people here that have been just rock stars and then they have a baby and they're like, hey, I really want to be at home. I'm like, like I want you to be, but yes, I want you to be. You
Yeah.
do that enough times, like, hey, I just want what's good for you. Like, please just do what's good for you. If you need part-time, we'll look to see if part-time works. Maybe it doesn't for you. But the thing is you always have to take this idea of how can we help everyone at your company achieve their own goals through your company, or the pyramid's upside down and it's going to tumble over.
You've given me a lot to chew on, Todd. That's good. That's good. And honestly, there's a lot of people listening or watching right now feeling the same thing. It's like, man, I've got a lot to think through here and write down. And I think that's key is write these things down. It just
Mhm.
helps organize things that are all jumbled. I analyze things to death. And then you get lost if you don't write that down. So
Yeah.
write these things down. Todd, good stuff this week. Any concluding thoughts?
One or two actionable questions. Number one, if your
Absolutely.
employee made that mistake, okay, how do they know not to make that? If it's not written down, if it's not trained to, then you better go put it down and have an open conversation with them. If you're
Mhm.
like, hey, my employee's just making the same mistakes, I get this a lot too. When's the last time you poured into your employee? When's the last time you asked them how they were doing? When's the last time you took them out to dinner or did a company gathering or checked on them? If you've only taken, okay, you can only take from the jar so much before it's empty and there's nothing else to take. If you haven't put into the jar, you might need to examine, and this is hard. These are some times that hurt for me where I'm like, man, I just have taken out of the jar too much. If you need to put into the jar to your employees, please do that first. You will not believe how that can change just the sense of ownership from them. Craig speaks to WOW as like an owner perspective. Like, I couldn't be any more lucky than that. So if your employee's jar is empty because you've taken too much, hey, can you go do this shoot? Can you stay late? Can you go above and beyond? If you haven't put into the jar, and putting into the jar is not a paycheck. It's not a paycheck. I want to clear that up.
Yeah.
Putting in the jar is showing that you care about them from a human standpoint. If the jar is empty and they're still making mistakes, it's probably on you to do something.
Good actionable item.
So just a few things to analyze, but thanks all. Sorry to preach to you, but
no, you're not.
These are some less. I'm not sorry at all, because I did these things way too wrong for way too long. And I want you all to get past them quicker. You got to go through them. All of us do. It's part of the rite of passage.
Right.
But these are some answers that I've learned the hard way that have really helped me get beyond these plateaus and these tough spots.
We enjoy this. And those of you watching and listening, thank you for the opportunity to allow Todd and I to pour into you. It's encouraging to us. We've gone through things, and the ability to share things and make other people successful. I like to encourage people. I look forward to this time each week that I have with Todd or Shannon or whoever I'm hosting with, because it's something different for me to do, and it helps me remember the things that I've gone through and the fact that I've learned things that can maybe help somebody else that's going through it right now. So we're getting just as much out of this as maybe you are. So many of you have shared so many positive comments and thanked us. Well, we want to thank you, because without you, we wouldn't even have this opportunity. So guys, thank you. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap things up, Todd.
Yeah, that'll do it for this week.
All right. It's busy season. It's, I worked a long day yesterday. You're working a long day today, probably wrapping up the week or whenever it is that you're listening to this. But build into time, whether you get up a little bit early, grab that cup of coffee, breathe. That's what Spiro means. Make sure you take some time to be thankful for the things in your life, the people in your life, the opportunities in your life that so often we just take for granted. Just spend a few minutes just reflecting on that and start your day with thankfulness. You have a great week. Thanks for listening and watching. Take care.
Thank you for joining us for the Spiro Podcast, Managing Your Real Estate Photography and Videography Business. This is a production of Spiro and WOW Video Tours. You can find out more about Spiro's real estate media business management software at our website, spiro.media.